Welcome to a new episode of Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome former football standout Christopher Okoye Jr. Christopher's journey is a testament to the power of resilience, versatility, and determination. The nephew of legendary Kansas City Chiefs star Christian Okoye, Christopher was also a standout on the gridiron. First as a defensive player for the Ferris State University football program, where he achieved first-team All-Conference and All-American honors. Christopher later joined the NFL, playing for teams such as the Cincinnati Bengals and Los Angeles Chargers. He also played in the USFL for the now-defunct Pittsburgh Maulers. Off the field, Christopher continues to inspire others through speaking engagements at businesses, churches, and educational institutions around his community. We now welcome Christopher to this live stream of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome into a brand new live stream edition of Listening with KNN Sports Talk radio show and podcast. So excited for today's show. We're going to continue the conversation around football because NFL fans, we are at day 2 of the NFL draft, one of the best times of the year, seeing these young men's dream come true. So without further ado, I'm excited, y'all, to welcome for the very first time on this show, my special guest for today, none other than Christopher Okoye Jr., an author, a former NFL and USFL player doing so much with life after football. So without further ado, please help me welcome Christopher to the show. Christopher, how are you? Thanks so much for joining.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
Good. How are you? Where are you joining from, Christopher, now?
So I'm actually I was in my office kind of going over some last minute marketing details for my book. So
Businessman. A new book is coming.
So I'm actually ready to launch my second book.
That's
Extreme
exciting.
Self-awareness leads to happiness. So super excited for that. Just finishing some last minute details, polishing it up. So I'm excited for that.
That's so exciting. Well, special congratulations on the second book. Look, that's a very hard feat. I know one book is a lot, now already on the second one. What's the motivation behind being the author, Christopher? What made you put pen to paper first?
You can reach a lot more people, through books. You know what I'm saying? Everyone learns differently, whether it be visual, auditorial. Some people like to read. So I just wanted to bring something new to the table. Also growing up, my mother always spoke about how she's going to write a book,
Yeah.
So I told her, you know what, I'll just do it,
I'll take it on for you.
I'll take it on for you. And I always was a big journaler. That was kind of like a coping mechanism for me. I'd always journal and write things out in order to kind of put my thoughts to pen and paper to organize them. So one day I was like, you know what, I might as well make this make sense and share it with the world so I can bring value,
That's exciting. And so, let's just start with the author part of your story. So you have your first book, Extreme Gratitude Leads to Happiness, How Gratitude, Accountability, and Perspective Will Help You Lead into Abundance. And I actually saw a cool picture of this book, Hill Harper, of all people, standing with the book. You went big and bold with that. So I absolutely love that. So first, tell us about this first book and where it first got you. Mom inspired you to write this story, but let's talk about it. I love that title, especially that gratitude and happiness, Christopher, because I feel like that's what most people spend a lifetime trying to find.
So my first book, actually, I remember rewind back to it. So my best friend, we were playing together on the USFL, and he got released. My friend, he's a big social media guy, chased him more throughout the handle. And I remember when he got released, I was like, yo, like, is everything okay? I remember him handling the situation with such calmness and composure.
Right.
And so I'm like, yo, like, is everything okay? Because when he got released, we were shooting a reality TV show. And so we went from shooting like a big episode about, how we do social media along with football. And then right after that episode, the next day, the coach calls him and cuts him.
Oh my gosh.
And so we went from being like almost like the star of like our Hard Knocks reality TV show to like, it's like, boom, like, he's getting cut. And immediately it went from really good vibes, asking his perspective and how he does things, to, all right, next episode, like, it's showing you packing up, getting released.
Ooh, that's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember just like, yo, like, is everything okay? Like, they yada, yada, yada. And I remember him saying, like, he's like, bro, like, we've been playing this game, getting paid to play it for a while. He's like, we have so many endeavors and things going on outside of sports where there's a lot of players who have nothing if they get released. There's a lot of people who have no opportunity. He was like, it would almost be, improper or just extremely wrong for me to be obsessed about getting released from, playing a game when I have so much more going on. And so that kind of first sparked that light of like, okay, wow, it's really all about perspective, right?
Right.
And then I just kind of always thought a gift I had was maximizing opportunities. It's draft weekend, a lot of players go undrafted, similar to myself.
Yeah.
And I just remember always being able to maximize opportunities because I was thankful for them, right? Whether that was football, business, relationships. My perspective of being super appreciative and having that extreme gratitude for situations allowed me to just maximize opportunities. And that's really what the book is about.
Yeah.
How do you view things? How do you leverage things? And
the
book's all about, you can't leverage a thing until you understand the value of it. And there's extreme value in everything. But the moment you start saying, oh, this is big or this is small, that's when you lose it, because you never know what blessing or what step could be that next step that leads you to that next goal,
Ooh, that's a word. And, I'm a big believer of what's meant for you is meant for you. But like you said, most of the time, we aim for these things. Like you said, it's draft week, right? We're so excited to see all these guys get drafted. But like you said, what happens to those guys that don't get drafted? Is the dream deferred, or is that, your purpose leading you in another direction? And you like, right, how do you value things, right? For some people, having a big house might be of value. For other people, might be growing their family, right? By the time they're, 30. But I love that, like seeing gratitude in everything that happens, because it would be easy for your teammates to be like, hey, man, F this, like, I'm mad, I'm angry. But it seems like, he was like, I'm just blessed for the opportunity. Obviously, it's not right now. And I love that you, though, were able to learn something from that, because you were worried about him, but it seemed like he was all right. Like, Christopher,
I'm being all right, end up signing like 10 more shows with Netflix and becoming like a reality social media boxing star, taking that.
Can we know the name? Are we allowed to know the name? Because now I'm so curious.
So Chase Demore from Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
So that's like a really, really, really close. It's my best friend, really close friend of mine. So
very cool.
So yeah, it was him. I thought I said it earlier, but no, it was him, and he just kind of always gave me that perspective. And then also, I have bought into VFriends NFTs. Gary Vaynerchuk, always gratitude, perspective, kindness. So listening to his podcast, kind of a lot, was just like, wow, like, all right, gratitude,
Yeah, gratitude. I think there needs to be gratitude in everything. People always ask me, Christopher, why I'm always happy and smiling. But I think that's what I'm grateful for everything, right? And life could be, of course, both of us could probably have things that we don't have, but we're grateful for, what's been afforded to us. And like you said, you never know where that next step or blessing, right, is going to come from. So I absolutely love that. And I hope this is really a book that people do find, again, like you said, see perspective in it and just the gratitude leading to happiness. How many pages is this, Christopher? How long did it take you to write this book?
So extreme gratitude to happiness probably took me like a summer to write, so like 3-4 months.
So you just took to the side, no football? You just focused on the book?
This is the book. It's not super long. It's only it's only like 70 pages. So
that's still amazing.
Yeah, it's a fairly quick read because it's more a book of application. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to, just bog you down with all these theories. No, I'm telling you about my life, and it's like problem solution, and how I use it in my life. So life's simple. We just make it hard. You know what I'm saying?
It is. Life is simple. You're right. We are the ones that complicate things. And, just going back to your story and something that you shared, you talked about it. So you went on to actually participate in the NFL. I know participate in camps, but you said you were undrafted, right?
Yes.
So take me back to that moment, for you. Obviously, it seemed like football was a dream of yours, right? It seems like. I mean, you were real good in high school. I know you played back at Detroit Catholic Central High School, which life come full circle. I know you're back at now, not working in football, right? But doing, again, another amazing job giving back to young people. But you're trying to get that NFL dream, right? You're done in college at Ferris State University. What happened when you don't hear your name called for the NFL?
So typically, when you don't hear your name called, there's a first process. There's like the priority free agents. After the priority free agents, and there's like regular free agency, and then after that, they start kind of handing out minicamp invites.
Right.
I kind of remember. What was it? It was like a bowling one, Lucky Strikes. So I remember sitting in Lucky Strikes with my one of my really good friends, Javier Thomas. He currently plays for the Buccaneers. And when you're a small school guy, you kind of just everyone tells you like fifth round or later, right? And that seventh round comes, you're like every FCS and Division II player is like, okay, seventh round is mine because day one you like obviously, day two,
right? The big names, from the big schools.
Day two.
Right.
Day three, you're like, okay, this is my day.
Yeah.
So I remember just sitting there with my best friend, and he starts kind of getting text messages from different teams like, hey, if you're available, we're going to get you. We got a couple picks left in the seventh. We may get you. And I remember him sitting next to me, kind of showing me the text messages. And I'm like, oh, like that's great. I'm super excited. Meanwhile, like I'm not really getting any of these.
Yeah, your phone wasn't buzzing.
My phone's not buzzing, but I'm like, like I'm super happy for him. So we're sitting there kind of going through that process. Boom, 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 boom. No one drafts him, but right after the draft, he gets a call from the Cardinals. They call him like, hey, like, we're going to sign you in free agency. Boom. Super excited, cheer for him, but still yet nothing that came for me. So my agent's kind of like, like don't worry about it. Like free agency kind of goes after the draft for a couple of days. Like no big deal. Just keep working, focus on getting better, maximize your opportunities, and embrace your journey, your path, no one else's. That's kind of like my life motto right there.
Yeah.
And then so I'm sitting there, just kind of just waiting. So I started back grinding. I treated the next day like I treat every day. Got up, started training, working hard.
Right, the same routine.
Boom, boom. Yeah, same routine. Like I think that consistency is a talent. We always think about strength and speed and size and intellect, which are great skills to have, but we never weigh in the importance of consistency. A lot of people
be consistent,
win just because they can stay long enough, right? A lot of people just don't win because they don't stay long enough, right? And so
it's a lot harder to stay in the game a lot longer.
Exactly. And so I remember just sitting there. That first week kind of goes by. Second week, same type of deal. And I remember like Wednesday or Thursday, my agent calls me and he's like, hey, the Bengals called and they're going to bring you in for rookie minicamp.
Okay.
So at that time, I didn't really know what that was or,
right. You're new to this process.
Yeah,
okay. I guess that works.
Process. So he kind of explains to me like, like it's basically like, it's a workout, there's about 100 and some people plus people that are signed, and you kind of come in for a weekend and it's basically 100 and some people find for half a spot,
Jeez, wow.
And so I remember kind of coming into that because no one there is really on the team. You have the guys that are assigned. So there's probably like 7 or 8 guys that are assigned, and the other 100 or something are just
vying for the spot. Yeah.
So you're just there working out, really. I remember just kind of coming in and walking in and seeing the locker room for the first time. And I remember the locker room just being like just this magnificent like view. Like I never, because coming from Ferris, it's Division II, like it's like metal lockers, milk crates, nothing. So I walk in and I'm seeing like all these beautiful lockers and all this amazing gear and great lighting. And I remember like looking for my name on a locker, and I'll never forget the equipment guy walks over and he's like, whoa, like that's for guys that are assigned. Like you're right here. And I will never forget it. It was literally like a couple buckets in the middle of the locker room.
Wow, for y'all. You got to share the buckets?
Yeah, it was literally just like little like milk crate buckets in the middle of
welcome to the NFL.
Of the locker room. Because they had to have something that was kind of like easy to break down because you're only there for 2 days, technically.
Right.
You know?
It's quick. The equipment guys just don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a really quick transaction. Boom, boom, boom. Like you're coming with the expectation of going back home for community camp. So I remember coming in and just kind of looking at the depth chart, and I was like 5th or 6th string at rookie mini camp, which is like insane.
Yeah.
But once again, my mindset was always like I felt so fortunate just to be there.
Just to be there, in that space.
So I remember playing on scout team and different special teams. And that first day, I was just like, you know what, like effort. If I get any opportunities, I'm going to maximize them. And then I remember just kind of playing scout special teams at 320, just chasing everything down, running downfield, like running next to guys that are 200-some pounds, but just having fun and giving high effort. And then the next day, which was that Saturday, I came in and I was starting. I was like, oh.
So look at you from 5th or 6th string to the start.
So that's amazing. I was excited, but I'm like, all right, still it's rookie mini camp, so like it still technically doesn't mean anything. And this is from this perspective now, as like a veteran guy. But at that time, I'm like, I'm just super stoked. And so that second day, once again, a lot more reps because I'm technically starting. So I'm flying around, balls to the wall, maximum energy. Yeah. And then that last day, I'll never forget this moment. It's like we're out there, head coach comes out, Coach Marvin Lewis, and he's like, yo, guys, like, I thank you guys so much, for coming out here and trying out and giving it your all. I wish you guys the best on your football journey. Like guys that are like contracted with us, I'll see you tomorrow. You other 100. There's an exit meeting in the auditorium across at the field. I wish you guys the best of luck. Your flights and stuff are already booked. Bada boom, bada bam. And I just remember like taking that walk at Paul Brown Stadium. And it was one of the slowest walks in my life because, you already made the post, you getting the love, you didn't got the repost, everybody like you there, you made
They're
it.
excited for you. Yeah. You have all the love.
You just left Friday, you about to be back Sunday night. But and so I remember just taking that long, long walk. And I'll never forget it. I remember the owner of the team, he walked up to me and taps me on the back, and he's like, yo, like, don't worry about going to the exit meeting. We're actually going to sign you to a 3-year deal.
The owner told you this? That's amazing.
I'm like, walk up. And at that moment, I was like, you know what, like, you really got a shot here. And I was, and it just kind of showed me that you have to be faithful over few. I think everyone knows that's my, like, one of my favorite scripture, the scripture that my book is kind of based around is, if you're faithful over few, right, God's going to make you rule over many. And if you never get tired of doing well, in Galatians 6:9, it's like, don't get weary in doing well, because in due season, you will reap your reward if you faint not. So I got to see just like the consummation and the completion of all those
of your journey
that were prophesied for us.
Yeah.
And so, and then I remember that getting signed and then, going through that journey, getting to playing games. And sadly, I ended up, got hurt, new coaching staff came in and just part of the game, but I'll just never forget, like that journey, and then just kind of consistently seeing like, wow, it really, the victories in sports and in life really goes to those that maximize opportunities and never get up and focus on their path. So many times you see people in every realm of life, they start kind of comparing themselves. Oh, this guy's getting that, and this brother's getting this, and this sister's getting that opportunity. And it makes them not maximize what they're doing.
Right, because they're so worried focusing on others.
When you do get your shot, you don't do as well as you probably could if you were focused, So I
agree with you. It's like that mentality, like you said. I mean, you could have easily been like, they're never going to pick me. I'm 5th, 6th string here at a mini camp, right? Maybe just not done your best, but then lo and behold, you're about to take the walk, and all of a sudden, the most probably important person in that building actually comes and taps you, and that means something, right? So that means your name was probably being spoken in rooms, right, that you weren't even in, Christopher, which I think has power to it. I really hope people are taking a message from this. And like you said, I mean, it might have not ended the whole way you wanted to. Injuries happen, but still you have that opportunity and chance. I was looking at these numbers, Christopher, the other day, and it's wild. Like how many men play, football in high school, and then the numbers in college, and then the numbers that actually make it to an NFL team or mini camp. Like it's ridiculous. I mean, you literally have already defied the odds.
No,
I mean,
it's
just
insane.
getting there.
We had an NFLPA meeting in DC probably a couple months ago, and basically they were talking about, glory be to God, I was able to get 2 accredited seasons, and they were breaking down the numbers of like, do you guys understand you're in like that 1% of the 1% of like, and I remember even, with injuries and going through my things with the Chargers and the Bengals, I remember even like, man, like I'm upset I didn't get to really ball out how I wanted to. But then like, wow, like, but you got two accredited seasons, like,
which is NFL still. NFL is hard, right? I mean, that's why they say not for long. I mean, it is very hard to keep. And you had 2 teams, right, in that stint, and again, 2 well-known teams, at that. So all that to say, it's something to look back, and obviously you've learned from it. And look at what you've been able to go on and do, and still you're able to say you played for those 3 letters, right? The NFL, and then staying with football. So you had your stint with the Bengals, you had your stint with the Chargers. I'm just kind of curious, how was it different with the Chargers versus the Bengals? Because we heard, about your experience with Marvin Lewis and kind of working right through minicamp with the Bengals. What was it like with you getting to the Chargers?
So the Chargers, now that was like next level adversity, but I was more mature and more seasoned by that time.
Okay.
So Chargers, great vibes. That impressed Coach Lewis. I played well in preseason, played well.
Right, with the Bengals.
Really good film.
Yeah.
But reporter there. And then eventually ended up getting hurt. Coach Lewis leaves. COVID hits. I mean, it's like university.
That was a wild time.
That was an insane time. And so during that time period, I remember when COVID first started, it was either you were in or you weren't in. Like it was super simple. Like if they signed you, they kept you. And if you weren't signed, like you were just at the crib that year.
Jeez.
And so I actually ended up playing in the spring league that year, ran by Fox actually.
Yeah.
which was crazy because a little bit about the spring league, it was essentially 6 games. You're playing for free for 6 games. Yeah.
So this is USFL for the first year you're talking about.
Yeah, no, so this wasn't the USFL. This is just a spring.
Oh, just a spring league. Okay, and they weren't paying you all.
Yeah, spring league, you didn't get paid. Like
wow. So then geez.
Yeah, for spring league, like you didn't get paid, but it was like
talent.
It was your only way of showing teams like, hey, I'm healthy and available, because they couldn't bring you in. So when a team signed you, they bring you in, they work you out, they hit you with the measurements, they run all their tests, their physical exams, but all that stuff was shut down. They couldn't bring you in, they couldn't see you, they couldn't put eyes on you. So opportunities were really, there were no opportunities.
They were scarce. Yeah. Wow.
So the spring league comes, they leverage that, that teams can't bring anyone in, and they're the only availability to come and showcase your talent.
Right. So, that's your only option.
And so I did that. I went in, played really, really well. After it was over, I remember every team was calling. So I'm like, all right, we took
fun. Phone buzzing.
I'm like, all right, we took care of business. My agent's like, all right, we're going to be good to go. Yeah. And this is like early midsummer. And so, but then randomly, I heard nothing. Like, you know how it is. Like, so at this point, I'm hearing no phone calls, randomly. It went from 16 teams to just
crickets.
Just crickets. So I'm thinking oh man, is it that time? Is the phone done ringing? And then I get a mysterious call from an unknown number, basically hey, we wanted to let you know that your agent passed away.
My gosh, during COVID.
Yeah, so he ended up passing away. So it was really, he's calling me we're good. You took care of business, you did what you were asked, and then it just stopped. So I'm like,
wow, I'm so sorry. Jeez.
How did it randomly just stop? But part of me is like, who knows? And so 2 months, I'm just focused on getting better. All right, next opportunity, we're going to maximize it.
Right.
And then come to find out, my agents, but that's why I haven't heard anything.
I was going to ask you. So that's basically why you weren't hearing anything, because you didn't know he had passed away.
Yeah, I didn't know he had passed away, and his family didn't know, and it was found out very late. Wow. And then, so at this point, I'm like, I have no clue what's going on.
Right. You're just kind of lost. Like, what do you do?
Lost. Like, yo, is it
because he's your connection point.
It's time to hang it up, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And I just kept getting hit up by like a bunch of like, because the only teams that will kind of reach out to you personally is usually like arena teams. So I had this arena team that reached out to me, and they kept reaching out, kept making these offers.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, growing up for me, that wasn't really what I envisioned for myself. So I'm like
doing the arena league.
Yeah, it was really like no shade to it. It just wasn't, that wasn't what I
imagined. It wasn't for you.
So I remember telling God, like, hey, like if this is where the journey ends, you blessed me with the opportunity to make it to the league, playing games. My mom was able to come to games, buy her jersey, boom, like we were able to do it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, mom's proud.
But before I take this path, like I'm okay. And I'll never forget, I just was grinding. I went to my physical therapy person, the chiropractor, and I'm driving back home, and I'm walking up the steps, like just super sweaty. And I look down, and I see a random Orange County, like California number calling me. And I answer it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, like, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, this is such and such from the LA Chargers. Like, we're calling to see like what's up with you. We've been calling your agent, and he hasn't been getting back with us. I'm like, yeah, he's never going to get back with you.
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
I'm like, yo, he won't. They're like, oh, like we're sorry. We're sorry to hear that.
Right. But, wow.
We want to bring you in. This is like 6 o'clock. Like, we're going to bring you in, work you out in the morning. We just had someone go down, and we've been trying to contact you. We wanted to get you in earlier. But, so I come in off of I'm taking like a red eye, multiple stops just so I could get there in the morning.
Jeez. So where were you at this time? Where were you living?
Detroit. So my home base.
Okay, you were back home. Got
everywhere, it. Yeah, everywhere. Regardless of where I'm playing at, when the season's over, I'm coming back to Detroit.
You're back to Detroit. So were you at the draft? Were you at the draft, Christopher?
Was I there?
Recently? Yeah.
No, I wasn't. It's way too much traffic.
Understand. You're y'all have that.
Yeah, I get overstimulated by too many people.
I get you. And there's a lot of people. But okay, we're in Detroit. You have to take a red eye to Cali.
Take a red eye, wake up, get there, go through the whole shebang. It's still kind of COVID time, so it's still pretty strict. So but at this point, I put up such good film a few months prior in the spring league to where it was like, yo, so we want you. Yeah. So I come in there, we go through everything, I work out, and once again, here comes God. I'm sitting there after the workout, boom, 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 just sitting there with the good old weight, and boom, here it comes. Hey, we're gonna sign you to a 1-year deal. Boom.
Nice. This is for the defensive tackle position, right, Christopher?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then this is so I'm signing a 1-year deal there. It's like a day or two before the first game. So I remember sitting with one of the interns, just trying to like get the new playbook because
you're trying to learn it as quick as you can.
And I had never played in a 3-4. So it was like a complete new defense. It was the first year in LA.
So what did you play in college? I'm so curious now.
I always played a 4-3. So I always played 4-3 defense, kind of that 4-3 nose, a little bit of 3 tech every now and then, but primarily 4-3 nose, line up on the center, shade them, attack that snap in.
Right.
So now I was like, yo, we want you to play 3-4 in.
You're like, hold on.
I'm like, oh, this is completely different. But once again, just kind of focus on maximizing opportunities, getting better, learning the playbook, and had a really good time there. Playing a couple games, but after playing so much football that offseason, the body was kind of banged up. And versus the 49ers, I was going against the left guard and pop in my big toe. And so I ended up getting put on IR there. So I always tell people, like, I don't, as a veteran or with more perspective, like, it sucks to get hurt, but once you're signed and you get hurt, you're still, taken care of. So it's like,
it's
almost like it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's like, I want to be out there.
You're just not on the field.
You get what I'm saying? So I got hurt versus 49ers, and then got put on injury reserve. But I was on a 1-year deal there. So, once it was up, it was up. And then that's when I ended up getting drafted to the USFL for their inaugural season to the New Orleans Breakers. And then later I'm going to Pittsburgh of this past season. And
Yeah,
so,
it seemed like it's been longer, doesn't it, Christopher? Yeah, just literally this past season.
No, literally like just ended, and so we're just kind of waiting for the next opportunity. Honestly, still waiting for the next opportunity to kind of see like.
Okay, so you're saying you still want to play football?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so let me ask then, what have you thought so far about this merge between the XFL and USFL? For now, we get the XFL.
Once again, it's all about extreme gratitude and maximizing opportunities.
Yeah.
Regardless of the undefined variables that circulate it, it's still a league of opportunity. So it gives you the opportunity to get filmed, So you know how it is. Like, film is all that matters. So
yeah, that's what people
film.
are looking at, right? Yeah, they want to know, trying to foreshadow what you can do.
Exactly. So once you've once you've already, especially for guys that have already like played, like once you get to that 24, 25 range, like they don't care about your 40. Like, they care about how you play. So when I go in for the team brings me in, I'm not running a 40. Yeah. I'm going or they're just making me run to see, like, all right, are you still in shape to do what you did most recently on tape?
Right.
That's kind of like
so keeping the body and stuff together.
Exactly.
If I remember right, when you were in Pittsburgh, I think you were listed at 6'6", 320, Christopher. Is that right? Yes, are you still about that size?
Yeah, I have not shrunk.
See, I can't tell because you're sitting down. That's why I had to ask you.
Yes, no, I've not shrunk at all. Yeah, I feel like I've been between like 320 and like 330 like my whole entire life.
Okay, geez. So you're just always like the big guy, essentially.
Yeah, I've always been. I've never I don't remember the last time I wasn't a 2X.
Were you a big baby too? Were you one of like the 14-pound kids?
Yeah, that's actually wild you said that. I was 13.6 pounds. So.
How did I foreshadow that? So your parents already knew.
That's impressive.
Wow, but that's good to know. Okay, so you would still play football. You see the NFL draft, and then thinking of football, and then I'm so curious your thoughts. So it came out today that NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is thinking about potentially a future with 18 regular season games. So it seems like, Christopher, we keep going up. But I'm asking you because I know you talked about the wear and tear on your body, right? You're a player that has been through injury, and we're talking about adding more games, talking potentially too about a President's Day weekend Super Bowls. Think about when we usually have Super Bowl, folks. Early February, usually. I know this year is a little bit later, and then also increasing international games. So just curious your thoughts on kind of some of the potential proposals in the National Football League, Christopher.
More opportunity. The thing with longer seasons is longer seasons tend to anticipate expanded rosters or additional practice squad spots. Also, as guys get more banged up, that provides opportunity for more players to come in and get those opportunities. At the end of the day, you're going to play the game of your dreams. When you sign up for it, your body's going to hurt. You kind of expect it. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I remember I was talking to a veteran. He's like a 13-year vet.
Yeah.
He'd always say, he's like, it's not a matter of if you get hurt, it's a matter of when and how bad. Any athlete will tell you, you're playing hurt. By the time you get to week 6, week 7, week 8, everyone's banged up.
Because your body's been through so much.
Our bodies wasn't made to crash into people.
Every week.
Exactly. I saw a doctor say online. He said playing football is equivalent to getting into 40 mini car crashes in 2 hours.
See, that's wild. That is wild when you think about it, but it makes sense. Like you said, you think about the physicality, you play defense, right? You're literally going after somebody. So, geez, but like you said, I mean, it makes sense what you just said, the more opportunity, for the guys. And, I think for fans, obviously more games, right? For fans to attend. But on the other side of it, still is it's asking so much of the guys. Right now, it's another of football, in a longer season. So I'm curious, fans' emotions. Put your comments, y'all, in the chat, what you think. And I want to shout out Kyle. Happy birthday, Kyle, who's watching our show, actually.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Green Bay, Wisconsin. And he asked, have you ever been to Green Bay, Wisconsin, Christopher?
Yes, I have. I think my rookie year, I went there when we played Green Bay.
Okay, good. And the draft is there next year. So I guess a lot more people will be introduced
to Green Bay. It's a smaller town, so I'm interested to see what it'll be like with the draft.
Me and you both, because I'm thinking about Vegas. I'm thinking about Detroit. Green Bay's good. I actually might need to go down to Green Bay. I'm like you, Christopher. I'm curious.
I think it'll be one of the more calmer draft vibes,
Probably, yeah. Detroit was fun. And so I know this is your home base.
Detroit's crazy. Detroit, there was close to 250,000 people downtown yesterday.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. But it makes sense because Detroit, one, it's so easy to get to. Also one of my favorite airports. I love Detroit Airport, flying into it. But it makes sense and easy for fans to get there as well.
Where are you right now? Where are you from?
I'm in DC. You're joining from DC. I know you said you've been to DC.
Oh, I was just in DC.
And I know a lot of the guys at the NFLPA, so we probably know a lot of the same mutual.
Oh yeah. And I was just there. They had they had the NFLPA kind of like meeting, kind of going over like the benefits you can receive, and once again, just more opportunity, right? How to maximize things you've already kind of accomplished and things of that sort. So that was great.
So for people, I'm glad you talked about it. So for people that don't know kind of life after football, right, or like that next step, what would you say like the NFLPA offers for those players? Kind of once you're still trying to get back in the league, but you've played. Like, what are some of those positives? Like this isn't talked about. I don't think fans know. So there's a lot of conversation right now around WNBA and WNBA players and their benefits. Obviously, with the emergence of Caitlin Clark and all these new fans. But I'm curious on the football side. What is that like for y'all?
I know fans don't know because, to be honest, like 98% of players don't even know. But the NFLPA does a really good job. Just kind of going into all the scholarship opportunities, life insurance, the like job opportunities. If you have a business, they'll help market it, promote it. I mean, there's pages and pages of all the things that the NFLPA is doing. They're doing a really good work. I think one of the beautiful things
good to hear
is the yearly scholarships. If you can take advantage of that, in the midst of playing, you get like $20,000 a year scholarship credit for master's, doctorate, bachelor's, associate, along with you get an additional $5,000 that goes towards certificates. So whether you want to go to get a skill or get you a degree, they're there to help you with that. And there's nonstop seminars and workshops and trainings that they offer at the local headquarters all around the world. So
that's amazing.
They're really taking care of the players. They do I don't think they get the credit they deserve. I think the public persona is like, oh, it's just gladiators. We take the time as players. A lot of times when we're in the thick of things, we don't just take the time to actually read this big old NFL.
Yeah, it's a big thing. So it's nice to have it broken down to. Well, that's amazing to hear because I think sometimes folks feel like maybe the NFL doesn't care about players afterwards. But from what you're sharing, and I hope everyone's listening to this, that it still seems like the help and assistance is there for life insurance. All these are good, especially the going back to school. It's very expensive. Look, there's a lot of people, Christopher, waiting for that President Biden email to forgive their loan. So the fact that they're giving, this money is amazing. Have you thought about doing a master's program or certificate program?
I have not, just because my coming from a small school and coming from a Nigerian backdrop, we're kind of a heavy academic family in general. And I kind of took the entrepreneurship route. So I'm vice president of iCare Home Health.
Let's get into that. You've done a lot.
Development firm. So I speak. I do. I do DEI work. I'm contracted to about 12 schools right now for DEI consultations. I kind of took that route. I actually recently just got recognized for an honorary doctorate. So
look at you! Congratulations!
For an honorary doctorate a couple days ago. So that's.
You sure you want to get back on the football field? Sounds like life is good.
I just was always so. It's like it seems like my path has been so long in football. I mean, playing for 5 years. But I was always the youngest person in my class, so it's like I still got more to get. I think last year, when I played for Pittsburgh, if I was top 3 in tackles for loss, I think if I wouldn't have played as well as I did, I probably it would have been easier. But I still got more to give.
You still got it. You feel it.
And if you're the will of God, I'm ready to go. So.
That's awesome to hear. Well, congrats on all this success. So let me just dive a little bit deeper. So, vice president of iCare Home Healthcare. Tell us what that is and how you got to the VP position. That means you're making boss moves, big decisions.
So we're an independent living home company, and we specialize with people with spectrum disorders. So essentially, we get cases, we interview clients, and we get their cases, and we set them up with a whole entire living plan, housing, CNA, make sure you're getting to and from school or your doctor's appointment if you're no longer in that age. And it's people with spectrum disorders. A lot of times when you have a child that has a spectrum disorder or a disability, as a parent, it's not what you expected. You don't get that once they're 18, they move off to college. You're kind of stuck in that, and that can cause a sense of resentment. When I was in college, I was a CNA. One of the benefits of going to a Division II school is your summers are still free. So in the summer, had a law internship. I was a bouncer. I was a CNA. And as I was CNA at group homes, I just kind of saw like the mistreatment of people that were there and the overworking of staff. And my mother was the regional manager of one of the assisted living home companies that was doing pretty well. And so we just kind of started our own thing, right? And then
the entrepreneurial spirit that you mentioned
earlier. And then we were blessed once I got my first deal. So we were able to kind of get that thing flowing so we could kind of add value and, and bring that love and care into the field because, it's not fun to be overworked. So now our caregivers are one-on-one with our clients and it provides a much more quality of life. The parents get to now go on vacation because, we don't get that. It causes a lot of resentment and a lot of abuse. So now it's like you get that same normal feel. You can go and, and still see your son or still see your daughter, so it kind of creates that normal balance of what you kind of thought you were going to have. You can now have that because a lot of people just kind of get stuck, and that's how the abuse and things of that sort will
start to happen. Well, I'm so glad you have started this. Congrats on all your success, Christopher. I got to let you get back to work because you're doing a lot of different things. But it's just been amazing again to hear your story. And I love that you shout out your Nigerian background. And I'm curious, what have you thought about the NFL's continued kind of international growth? And especially, I think, Christopher, a lot of names on the back of those jerseys starting to represent the continent of Africa. So I feel like as you see more and more, that the African influence has entered the National Football League.
As a person that's recently kind of hit the ground running in the DEI space, I love it. Representation is key. Representation is important. More opportunity. I think a lot of people aren't exposed to opportunities. So they know nothing about them. So I think it's bringing a whole new level of exposure and excitement. Because when I was growing up, it wasn't like football was always heavily articulated to me, where now it's becoming the norm. It's becoming the standard opportunity. And I don't always push going to the league or going pro, but it gives you an opportunity to go to school. It gives you an opportunity to perhaps come over here and see some exposure and see some different things. So that's why I'm very pro of it.
That's awesome. Well, it's exciting to hear. I love that you're still back in the hometown area. Before you go, tell me a little about Novi, Michigan, because I never heard of Novi until I met you, Chris.
So Novi, it's
Novi. My apologies.
Oh no, you're fine, sister. So Novi is a small suburb about 30 minutes outside of downtown Detroit.
Okay.
Very beautiful, very, very amazing. It's in the middle of everything. I always tell people Novi is great because you're 25, 30 from the city, 25, 30 from the country. You're right next to great shopping, great restaurants, good energy, good vibes. It's small, it's quiet. I'm a suburbs guy. Like I just love suburbs. Like
me and you both.
I grew up in the hood, and I'm like, I like quiet, I like calmness.
Birds, chipmunks, trees.
You know what I'm saying? Like as a writer, I like to go out, sit on the balcony, pen and paper, or fingers to laptop, and just type. I really value quiet. So it kind of it provides that. So
and it's kind of was the suburban life, as I understand it, you got a late start to football, right? So this was something that was that part of the reason why you got the late start to football?
I wouldn't say that. Okay. Sports weren't just super pushed.
Okay.
B, growing up, there was weight limits for youth football.
Oh, so you were too big for youth football?
I was too big. So I think the weight limit was like 160, 180, and I was probably like 260 in elementary school. Wow. So a lot of times you'd see players kind of in the trash bags trying to lose a couple pounds, but I was always like 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds overweight. So I never really got to play as a youth. So it's kind of happened like that. So,
but I think that's so inspiring to folks. Like you're literally again showing doesn't matter where you start. Look at how you ended. So again, just so amazing, Christopher, to have your story. Before I let you go, let people know when does the second book come out?
So
where can they get the first book? Give us all the details.
So the second book, follow me on Instagram at Chris Okoye Jr. and I'll provide updates as far as when I will do the official release.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're looking to find me or the books are available on Amazon and also at my website, extremegratitude.net, where you will find ebooks, you will find the hard copies, and stay tuned for the release of Extreme Self-Awareness Leads to Happiness. We'll really kind of dive deep into learning self and then self-improvement and things of that sort. Super excited for that one. The first one did really well, and I'm super excited to see what the second one does, Second one's
excited for you.
More lighthearted. It's a little more like, all right, we're getting a little deep here. Yeah.
We're going in the weeds. Absolutely love it, Christopher. So amazing having you on. It was such a pleasure to meet you. I am wishing you the best of continued success. And then hopefully soon we get to see you back on that football field.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining, Chris. Have a great one.
You as well. Adios.
Bye. All right, y'all. You just heard again from Christopher Okoye Jr. We're going to wish him the best in his continued football pursuits. Check out the new book. Book 2 coming out. Be sure to follow him on Instagram. And of course, check out book 1. Again, just very inspirational. And again, just that positive spirit I think that we all need to have in life. So appreciate you all as always for joining the show. A special shout out to my team as always for getting us ready. Kyle, once again, have a great birthday this weekend. I forgot what sign it is right now. A shout out to all the April birthday signs. Again, so appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the rest of the NFL draft. Bye, guys. Make it a great day.
Listen in with KNN on Fox Sports Radio. Now offers official Kelsey, Nicole, Nelson apparel in a variety of styles for men and women. Fashionable shirts, leggings, hats, jackets, and more. Order now and get 15% off and free shipping. Just enter promo code KNN. Get your Listen In with KNN wearables today. And check out Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio with Kelsey, Nicole, Nelson.